Is niche where it's at? Well, according to a lot of you, it is. Niche is where it's at because of its uniqueness, the power of the fragrances, the blends. You can find things that are not more of the same, things that will definitely give you an edge and make you stand out in the crowd. So in this video, it's part 2 or part 3, depending on which way you look at it. I've done a best top 22 designer brands of the world and the best offerings from those designer brands. I'm gonna leave the link of that video up here as well as in the description of this video. This is actually part 2 or part 3, but part 2 of the niche. I talked about the best 10 most popular niche brands of the world in the video before this one. And today, according to you guys, I missed some of the brands that I should have included last video. So I'm gonna actually include those brands here and some other ones that I believe are in the top tier of great niche brands of the world. So guys, stay tuned. The video's up next. Welcome back to another video. 𝗏𝗏𝐻𝐿𝐴 here. If you do love to make a great first impression and a lasting impression, smelling good is a great way to do that. In this video, we're going to talk about the top best niche brands of the world. This is part 2 of that video. I'm going to actually include a lot of the suggestions or recommendations that you guys thought I missed out in part 1. So they're going to be here along with some other great ones that you definitely should know about. And of course, each one of these top niche brands, I'm going to give you guys the best offering from those brands. Before I get into the picks, please, I want to ask you guys a quick favor. Show support to the channel. If you do enjoy the channel, go ahead and leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already. And please, that's all I ask for. Your support makes my day. A quick like, which doesn't take you more than a second, and subscribing to the channel if you do enjoy the channel means the world to me. So let's hop into the choices. Kicking off the list here with a French brand, which is a sister brand of a very popular brand, which was featured in the part 1 of this top niche brands of the world. And this is gaining a lot of popularity, especially over the past 2-3 years. It's going to be Initial Parfums Privé, and the brand is going to have a fragrance here that is a little bit controversial. You can't deny the fact of how great you feel when you wear this fragrance and the way people perceive you when you're wearing this fragrance, guys. This is Oud for Greatness from Initial Parfums Privé. And picture this fragrance to me is if you took 2 incredible fragrances, mashed them, and created this absolutely blend of perfection. We're talking about Oud Wood from Tom Ford, mashed or clashed or, combined with Baccarat Rouge 540. That's correct, everyone. You have the Oud. It's like you took Baccarat Rouge 540 and infused it with Oud. That's what you're gonna get here. Long lasting, beautiful smelling. It's just gonna make you feel incredible. Like I said, and those around you that smell you will love the way you smell. They're not gonna be able to get enough. It's simple as that. Knock it all you want. For those haters out there, this stuff is good. Simple as that. And I think, in my opinion, right now, I could have talked about Rehab, which is a great tobacco, musk therapy, Paragon. There are a couple really good fragrances within the Initial Parfums Privé brand, but I think Oud for Greatness still stands as the best offering from the brand, in my humble opinion. From Initial Parfums Privé, we still, in France here, we're gonna go with another French brand, and this is gonna be back to back because this is also a sister brand of another very popular brand. But the one we're talking about here is Monsera, which is going to be Cédrat Boisé, but the intense version. I love what they did here. This is actually, in my opinion, an upgrade from the original Cédrat Boisé, which was great on its own. It was this very fruity apple with woods, perhaps a little bit of a smokiness to it, vetiver in the base, patchouli, long lasting, one of those compliment-inducing fragrances, one that is gonna make you feel just amazing the way you smell when you wear this fragrance. It just fits you like a perfect made-to-measure garment. Those around you, I mean, look how much I wore this, guys. I love this one right here. And I have 2 bottles of the original Cédrat Boisé, but this one here surpasses. I don't even wear that anymore. This is where it's at, guys. Cédrat Boisé Intense, try it. I think it's incredible, long-lasting, fruity, a little bit earthy, a little bit smoky, definitely creamy. There's some sandalwood in here as well. Just smells like $1,000,000. Now, the creator of this brand, Monsera, is also the creator of the next brand I'm about to share with you, which is going to be the brand of Montal, and this is going to be Intense Cafe. Now, this one here, in my opinion, it's not really a all-out coffee scent. It's more like a dessert that has coffee in it. Think of like a tiramisu cake. It's creamy, it's sweet, it's a little bit gourmandy, dessert-like, almost smells like something you'd want to eat. So if you do have a sweet tooth and you like gourmand fragrances, guys, Intense Cafe is where it's at. If you're really craving for a really coffee-based scent, this might not, fix your itch. You might want to go different routes, and we can talk about those as we get more into this. And by the way, guys, this is part 2 of the niche. I think we're going to go into like part 4, part 5. There's so many great niche brands of the world that I don't think that 2 videos will cover them all. So before I continue the video, please quick pause the video and let me know in the comments what are other incredible niche fragrances, especially by the end of this video, you'll know I talked about 20 incredible niche brands, but I wanna know which ones have I missed and what is your favorite fragrance from that favorite niche brand that I actually missed in these last 2 videos. I may include it on part 3. So go ahead, I'd love to read your comments. As always, I love interacting with you in the comment section of these videos. So Intense Cafe is a great gourmand fragrance with a little bit of coffee situation here. It's like more of a dessert coffee as opposed to a very intense cafe, as it were. It is an intense fragrance, it lasts a long time, but the coffee is not really very predominant, I should say. It's more of a supporting note. To be honest, one of the best from the house of Montal, and this was actually my introduction to this brand, so has a very special place to me, and I think it's universally liked. I think if you smell this on yourself or on others, you're going to love the way you smell because it's very unique from what's out there. It does what it does very well. Next up, we're gonna go to Turkey. This particular brand, the brand of Nishan A, which has gotten a ton of limelight in the world of niche perfumery, of fragrances in general. Everyone's talking about this. You know, the collaboration with 𝗬𝗂 Hokian and Ani was an incredible green vanilla, which is powerful and beast in performance. There are a ton of great fragrances within this brand that I could have talked about, but I'm gonna throw you a little bit of a curveball, a little bit, something that you probably would not expect me to talk about. And I love this fragrance, and shameful, I think it's only available in a 50 ml. I have to get another one because it's almost half gone. This is B612. I love this fragrance. My wife loves it. She's my love, yeah. She loves it, I love it. But the bottom line is, this is an incredible take on lavender. It's going to be a sweet, powdery lavender that has some synthetic notes in here, which really enhance the performance. But what I'm trying to get at, this is a compliment monster. It's a bomb. It works magically on my skin, my wife's skin, so it goes to show anybody can rock this. But it's a very different take on lavender. This is a long-lasting, talk about scent trail and sillage. This is gonna follow you wherever you go. It's like an entity. If you spray your clothes, it'll be there for days. But the effect this has on people is incredible. I mean, people will stop and say, what are you wearing? Who smells this good in this room? It is, in this list here, probably the one that gives me the most compliment for both me and my wife. So B612 from the house of Nishan A. If you haven't tried this one, this is a hidden gem from the brand. Highly recommend, universally appealing, and just uniquely smelling. It is a great scent. B612 from Nishan A. Don't snooze on this one, guys. Next up, we're going to talk about the house of 𝐌𝐀𝐃 Parma. Now, 𝐌𝐀𝐃 Parma is a fragrance brand that, in my opinion, does clean very well. Fragrances. This to me is very similar to Creed, for example. They do freshies, clean, but this is like the niche clean brand of the world because they've been around since, I believe, the early 1800s. And this one here is going to be, or even earlier than that, this is going to be 𝐌𝐀𝐃 Parma Colonia Intensa. This is the prestige edition with the wooden cap. I think it was discontinued, but the Colonia Intensa is still available today. Now, this is going to be a very nice fragrance. This is clean. It's like that cologne genre, which is very, appealing, very crisp, a little bit of fruits like citrus fruits up top, some amber in the base for performance. I believe 3 or 4 master perfumers were actually involved in the creation of this fragrance, so this is no joke. In my opinion, the best from what's available in the market from this brand, especially if you go on the clean route, if you want something that's very uplifting, bright, very well put together, made to measure like, if you're wearing a jacket, if you want to, be perceived in someone who's very well put together, but you want to have this vibe about yourself that's very clean, very crisp, very elegant, very sophisticated. I think 𝐌𝐀𝐃 Parma Colonia Intensa delivers perfectly, and I like the way it makes me feel as well because it has this clean effect, but there's also some woods here in the base, like sandalwood, a little bit of patchouli, some vetiver, of course. This is going into green territory, almost fougere, but not quite. It's more, like I said, of a colonia, but like an intense, as the name implies, a powerful cologne scent that is absolutely incredible. By the way, a lot of the fragrance brands that I mentioned in these top niche fragrance top videos, you can actually interact with and discover at Scent Explore. Now, Scent Explore is an international perfume niche convention that happens every year in December. If you guys have not heard of this convention, you are definitely missing out. Check out the description of this video, scentexplore.com, so you guys can learn more about what this is. This is an international hybrid event, so you can join it either virtually if you can't come to New York, and of course, we're gonna have hundreds and thousands of people joining us live in New York City, December 1st and 2nd of 2023, which is a Friday and a Saturday. All details below, guys. Over 70 brands will join us, including some niche brands that I haven't yet discovered. I will discover at Scent Explore, and I hope to discover them with you. So check out details. Registration should be open by the time you're watching this. So It is limited, you know, both virtual and in person. There are limited numbers of people that can actually join. So don't snooze, guys. It's going to be one for the books. And I truly hope to see you guys either virtually or in person in New York. We'll discover a ton of great fragrances together. See you there. We're going to talk about a brand that when you talk about greatness, this brand should have actually been on my first video. I have to be honest with you. I do apologize. This is going to be the brand of Guerlain, and when you think about niche, there's nothing more niche than Guerlain, guys. They created this beautiful Guerlainade, compound, which is vanilla, some resins. It's something that's very peculiar and special to the Guerlain brand and their fragrances. This is Angelique Noir. I could have talked about Tonka Imperial, but I think Angelique Noir takes the floral aspect of fragrances to the next level. I'm not a huge floral guy, but when it comes to Guerlain, they make it special. This is going to be a resinous floral fragrance that is absolutely powerful. Now, what you see here today is a vintage version of this fragrance. There is a different bottle that it's offered in today's market. I'm gonna pop it on the screen here. It's still the same fragrance, and I've tried it on skin side by side. The only difference, this is gonna give you a little bit more performance. I'm talking about maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours of longevity, and perhaps a good hour of projection. This pushes very strong. At whatever's available today, the new formulation of this fragrance, it's still great. The smell is the same, but performance is a little bit lacking in comparison, but it's still a great scent. And I think Angelique Noir, if you do like floral, resinous, powerful, even animalic a little bit, but also sweet because of the vanilla, the resins, a little bit of tonka in here as well, you're going to love this. This is a hidden gem from the brand, something that don't hear many people talking about it. And I'm telling you right now, when I wear this, I always get compliments, but not only that, people want to know what I'm wearing because it's unique, it's powerful, it's sweet, but it's very well balanced. Angelique Noir from Guerlain, guys, check this out. And believe me, a lot of people may say this leans a little more feminine, but when weather hits, early spring or fall and winter and it's cool out, this sings on my skin, guys, and it really sets me apart. Check it out if you haven't, you're gonna love it. Come back here and thank me. Talking about a brand that's getting a lot of popularity over the last couple of years, this brand here is a phenomenal brand from Paris, from France. This is going to be none other than BDK Parfums, and this is going to be Wood Jasmine. I love this fragrance. This was actually my first experience with the brand. And I wear quite a bit of this bottle, considering thousands of bottles in my collection. I actually wear this pretty well in the fall season. And this is an incredible scent, guys. This is going to have almost a liqueur vibe. This is going to have this plum liqueur vibe up top. It gives me a hay-like tobacco. If you're familiar with Chergui from Serge Lutens, it gives me that kind of a vibe, but it's not as dark. It's really nice and bright. You have some balsam here, so it is a little bit balsamic, a little bit powdery. I believe there's iris here as well. Sandalwood in the base, which makes it creamy. This stuff screams off of my skin. Performance is no joke on Wood Jasmine. Very in the cusp when it comes to, of course, there's no gender in fragrances. You can wear whatever the heck you want, but there's always those fragrances that are more floral, sweeter, which will lean more toward feminine, and the darker, greener, your fougere type scents will lean more masculine. This one here sits right in the middle. It's good for everyone, and I'm telling you, that honey, hay-like vibe, along with the plum liqueur up top, the tobacco kind of a feel that you get here with the woods in the base. The jasmine is prominent here, but it's not overly floral. This is a creamy, spicy, and woody scent. It is absolutely incredible. Wood Jasmine from BDK Parfums, guys. Try this if you haven't. You're going to love it, especially if you have a taste similar to mine. Love this stuff. Now, speaking of a fragrance we just talked about on the different ends of the spectrum, this one here is going to lean more masculine. It's a beautiful bottle. Clive Christian is the brand. And this one here, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be a very nice take on the fougere. So this one definitely leans more masculine. It's going to give you this barbershop kind of a vibe. Very green, almost sharp at times. You're going to have some floral nuances here, some fruity nuances up top. Definitely a very predominant green lavender feel along with oak moss, vetiver. This is a screamer of a fragrance. However, you must like the barbershop / fougere genre. Otherwise, it's going to be too much for you because it is powerful, it is sharp, and it is extremely green in its presence and its scent profile. I love this stuff. I tend to wear this when I'm really hankering for a very nice green, powerful scent. And you listening to this out there, I believe if you do enjoy green, powerful oak moss, lavender-based scents, you will love this one because I think it is the best of what this brand has to offer. For this kind of genre. They have a ton of great things, of course, but I think, looking at the whole portfolio for my taste and for an universal appeal that's going to give you an edge, I think 1872 definitely is where it's at, guys. Try this one if you love green fragrances, if you love fougere or barbershop scents. This one here checks all the boxes. And the great thing about giving you a list like this is I want to give you a nice gamut of things. I want to give you a nice, overview of these brands and also give you a pick that's not going to be more of the same. You don't want to smell like everybody else. Otherwise, what's the point, right? You want to come up with a fragrance that you love, but also sets you apart, I think. And I think the fragrances I'm giving you gives you a nice little mix of things to try that perhaps you haven't tried yet. So next up, we're going to talk about the house of L'Artisan Parfumé, which happens to be one of my hidden gem brands. I love this fragrance brand for so many years. Over the past 10, 12 years, I talked about this brand, especially in the beginning of my channel. They were reformulated and kind of like felt, under the radar. No one's really talking about them. But over the last couple of years, there was a release that came out that I really, really loved, and I'm going to share with you. This is, again, another one that's gender-free. Don't be taken by the name here. The name is Banana Banana. You do get a very prominent, believe it or not, banana sweetness up top, but the fragrance develops to so much more. It is a green fragrance. It dries down powdery with some beautiful iris here, gorgeous iris, might I add. And it dries down, in my opinion, to something similar to Dior's Bois d'Argent. If you haven't tried that fragrance, you won't know what I'm talking about, but if you have experienced that fragrance, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's that beautiful, luminous iris that's powdery, a little bright as well. There are other elements here which make this a very powerful fragrance, including a synthetic element that I can't really detect what it is, but it could be ambroxan, it could be Isoe Super, but the bottom line is it makes this fragrance pop. Just like B612 that I talked about before, this is one that will pop on your skin, it will really, push and project, and will get you noticed. If you do like a powdery iris with a banana-free feel up top, you're gonna love this. This is unique, but it's also very powerful. So, if it sounds good, try it. I wanted to share this with you because number one, L'Artisan Parfumé is a brand that's been around since I believe the 70s, and throughout the decades, they always came up with really unique fragrances, really coming up with a certain note, embellishing that note with something very exquisite, very unique. And that's what they did here with the banana and the iris combination. Phenomenal stuff. Try it if you haven't. I think you're gonna be pleasantly surprised. And last but not least, this is a brand that perhaps over the last few years had kind of, again, fell under the radar. But believe it or not, it's still a very loved brand within the fragrance world, especially outside of YouTube. I talk to people as I walk around and ask them about, top niche brands that they love. This is one that always comes up in their top 10, mentions. And this was also heavily mentioned in my last video in the comments. You guys suggested I talked about this one. I agree with you. I think it should definitely be in a top niche. This is going to be Bond number 9 from New York City, United States. This is New Harlem. Now, New Harlem was, along with Reflection Man and Muscovy Jour from Frederic Moll, were the 3 first niche purchases I've ever made. So very special place in my heart, New Harlem. This is going to be, now again, you must enjoy heavy fragrance. This is, the creator of this fragrance works beautifully and extraordinarily with lavender notes. Maurice Roussel is the nose in this fragrance. He's an extraordinary perfumer, but you really must enjoy powerful sweet fragrances because this is almost syrupy sweet. We're talking pancakes, we're talking maple syrup, we're talking heavy lavender, coffee as well. This is breakfast in the bottle, but gourmand breakfast in the bottle. Again, you must have a sweet tooth and like powerful, sticky, syrupy fragrances to appreciate this. This is my second bottle. I had 100 ml, I bought a 50 ml. This was for a while very hard to find. It was kind of like discontinued limbo with Bond number 9, and these were fetching $500, $600, $700 on eBay or Amazon, what have you, but now it's back in stock, I believe over the last year and a half or so. You can easily find this at the regular price, thank God. But once I'm down with this bottle, I'll definitely get another 100 ml. But this is one that you don't need more than 2 sprays. This stuff is, like I said, beastly in performance and overly sweet. So I only really wear this in the heavy winter season. But Bond number 9 New Harlem, needless to say, coffee, pancakes, maple syrup, this stuff is a bomb. Now, talked about 10 niche brands today. My favorites from their particular lineup. Let me know in the comments which niche brands did I miss here in part 2. Love to read your comments and figure out some of the brands that I could have talked about and the offerings from those brands. Stay tuned for part 3. I may even do a part 4 or 5 with a ton of other niche brands that I haven't talked about yet. So guys, let me know in the comments, leave your like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, show your support, it means the world to me, and of course I will see you right back here with another video very soon. Oh, by the way, you could try any fragrance I talk about here on the channel at perfume.com. Enjoy my code, details below. Get a max back. The more decants you get, the more you save. And guess what? When you find what you really love, you can actually purchase a bottle at a discounter. Of course, Max Aroma, which is also a partner of the channel, or Fragrance by 𝗏. Everything listed below, codes, savings to make your life easier from a fragrance lover to another. See you in the next one, guys. Take care.